I'm Libby Greenhalgh and I'm the British sailing team meteorologist, and we are out here at Santander. It's the test event for the ISAF World Championships, which will be held here next September in 2014, and we're just out on one of the course areas, and I'm going to give you a little whiz round the sort of course areas that we're expecting to be sailing on and what things and features we might find. We are currently out on course D. There's 4 course areas out in the bay and 2 rather interesting looking ones in the harbour. But this is the nearest course area out in the bay, and as you can see, looking round out to the north-northeast, is a relatively open area. We've got a little bit of an island just to the north of us, and then otherwise a headland up there, but essentially that is the dominant wind direction that we're expecting here from the long-term stats. Normally you'd be looking at sea breezes. As you can see today, we've come out on a lovely sunny day, but basically today we've got a lot of cloud. It's not that warm, and sea temperature's still up around 19-20, and the air temperature's only about 18, and we've had a front go through, so we've still got some showers remnant. A little bit nervous about that one up there that's heading our way on a light northerly airflow. Hopefully we won't get caught by it. But yeah, I mean, essentially this course area should get a reasonable clean wind given the direction, but also, as you can see, if you go all the way around, we've got a beach behind us, and so you can already see there's a little bit of swell, but it's likely that there'll probably be quite confused sea conditions on this course area, with the swell pushing up against that beach and then coming back out, so it could make for some interesting sailing, definitely when they get around to the bottom mark and when they have to jibe towards the bottom if there's any good breeze. Here in Santander in September, the weather conditions are typically should be reasonable high pressure still, and therefore, you know, you're looking at a sea breeze development generally dominating the area. But that's not to say you won't get the odd frontal system come through. We've already had 2 days of really what you might say English winter weather, and even today there's a few showers kicking about, but after, I think it's tomorrow, we've got another front coming through, but then essentially we're looking at high pressure, and we should start to see those kind of conditions establish, and wind strengths fairly moderate, sort of 8 to 12 knots is the kind of strength you'll be looking at for that sea breeze. Obviously if you have a frontal system come through, we can get, you know, the really strong southwesterlies that are 25-30 knots and big seas. I think probably one of the other things we'll see, and you can probably tell from the camera moving up and down a fair bit, is that as we head out offshore here, there is quite a good swell likely to be running in this area because it's big and open and exposed. It's got a long stretch, a long fetch for the seas to build up over. Okay, we're now out here, we've moved a bit offshore, we're now on course area C, and if we turn around we can see where we've just come from in the beach. In there was area D, and now, as you can see, we're just around that headland and slightly offshore. This area obviously much more open to the sea, more from more directions, obviously very open, other than any kind of southerly or south, anything from probably the southeast round to the west. Otherwise we've got pretty open, and again, as I said, northeasterly is the dominant direction, but also out here you can feel that the swell's picked up. We've actually got a swell coming from the west northwest, so that's going to be one of the tricky things here at this venue. Is quite often the swell is going to be offset in direction from the wind direction, so you know, you're potentially going to have the swell coming across here from the west northwest and the breeze coming in from the northeast, so helping you along, or potentially on one tack, and not so good on the other. Just putting our tide stick in here, and take it on our GPS reading, and then see what we get. Go and do this across a few of the courses to see if there's any tidal gradient and stuff. Off she goes. Welcome to course area A, or as I like to call it, the royal course area. The royal family will be looking out over us from the palace there, watching the racing, no doubt. I actually don't think they still live there, but apparently that is used to be where the Spanish royalty used to holiday. But this is course area A, and as you can see, it's enclosed in a little bay here. So again, you know, in terms of exposure to the south and around to the west, it's pretty sheltered. But obviously when you go back out, looking out to the northwest and round to the northeast, it's all pretty open. And at the moment, we've just had the wind literally just start to push in. I think this is first signs of a weak sea breeze, despite it being cloudy. And so we've just seen this come in and try and wrap around the headland. Obviously, pretty light wind's going to be in there behind that rather large headland there. Right, we've moved into the harbour. We've got a couple of course areas in the harbour here. One where probably all the medals will be decided, course F as it's called, is in this narrow strip along here between the major channel where the you know, big old ferries come in. In fact, if you look around, you will see one coming in just now. It's going to be a fairly narrow column of water, and obviously typically the wind is going to funnel in here and probably align parallel to the shoreline. If it doesn't, it will be interesting to see how they intend to put a race course just here on this side anyway. Then if we look over to the south, there is a much larger expanse of water, but you may be able to pick out that actually there's also a large sandbank. This area here actually does dry out quite a bit, and so again be very tide time dependent as to when we can race on there. But yeah, essentially this is the other major course area just in here. So I mean, in terms of spectators, could be awesome with people able to sit right there and probably almost touch the boats as they are racing. But again, these course areas are likely to be very shifty. Fair bit of tide as well running with a deep channel here, and also particularly on that course area there where it dries out, I think there could be a few tidal features that we will need to investigate, and hopefully we'll be on top of that in time for the main event next year.